Hello everyone, today we are going to learn Chapter 11 Grassroots Democracy Part 2 Local Government in Rural Areas from your Social Science textbook. In this video, I'll be covering each and every line from the chapter so you don't miss anything important. Make sure to keep your notebook and pen ready and take notes while watching. This will help you remember the concepts better. You can pause or rewind any time to write things down. So, let's begin. First, we have a quote. The real India lives in its villages by M.K. Gandhi. What is the full name of Gandhi? Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. He is called the father of the nation because he helped India become free from British rule without using violence. He believed in truth, peace, and simple living. Here he is saying that the real India lives in its villages. Mahatma Gandhi said this because most of India's people live in villages, not in big cities. Villages are full of farmers, craftsmen, and hard-working people who grow food and make many useful things. He believed that India's heart and soul are found in these small villages where people live close to nature with simple and honest lives. Gandhi wanted the villages to be strong, clean, and self-reliant, that is, able to take care of themselves. Mahatma Gandhi believed that if we want to make India strong, we must first improve our villages and help the people who live there. Here we have a picture of rural India. The big questions are, what are Panchayati Raj institutions? What are their functions? Why are they important in governance and democracy? We will learn answers for these questions in this chapter. Let us now see how the government functions at the local level. In this chapter, our focus will be on local government in rural areas. We will move to urban areas in the next chapter. So, in this chapter, we will learn how the government works at the local level. That means how people in villages are governed in their own areas. We will focus on rural areas, which means villages. We will learn about how village panchayats and other local bodies help in managing village life. In the next chapter, we will learn about urban areas like towns and cities and how local government works there. India is a country of enormous size and diversity. We have about 6 lakh villages, 8,000 towns and over 4,000 cities. Our population has crossed 1.4 billion, almost 2/3 of which live in rural areas. How do we govern ourselves in this complex society? So, India is a very large and diverse country. It has around 6 lakh villages, 8,000 towns and over 4,000 cities. India also has a very big population, more than 1.4 billion people. And about 2/3, that is more than half of them, live in villages or rural areas. Because our country is so big and different, it can be difficult to manage everything from one place. So the question is, how do we govern ourselves in such a big and complex society? Let us take a trip to Lakshmanpur, a small village in the foothills of the Himalayas. It has 200 houses and a population of about 700, most of whom are farmers. People cultivate their lands and rear cows or goats. Some have relatives serving in the armed forces. A few younger villagers have migrated to the city in search of jobs. What are the needs of this village? Maybe water for the fields, repairing the main road if it got damaged by heavy rains, or maintaining the village primary school. So let's imagine we are visiting a small village called Lakshmanpur, which is located near the Himalayan mountains. The village has about 200 houses and around 700 people live there. Most of the people are farmers. They grow crops and take care of animals like cows and goats. Some villages have family members in the army and a few young people have moved to cities to find jobs. Now think about what Lakshmanpur might need. Maybe they need water for their farms. Maybe the main road is broken because of heavy rains and it needs to be repaired. Maybe the primary school needs someone to keep it clean and work properly. How will the villagers take decisions about such matters that affect their daily lives? And where will they get the resources to meet those needs? What will happen if there is a dispute about land or if some of the crop is stolen? Many such questions can arise in a village. Can people run to the state or the national capital for every such issue? So now let's say Lakshmanpur village has some important problems like fixing roads, getting water for the fields, or improving the school. But who will make decisions about these things? How will the villagers decide what to do first? And also, where will they get money or resources to do these things? Let's say there is a fight over land between two families, or someone's crops are stolen from the field. Can the people run all the way to the state capital every time when they have a small problem? Panchayati Raj system. Like every village in India, the Lakshmanpur people have a system of local government called Panchayat, which refers to a village council. Panchayats bring governance closer to the people, making it possible for them to actively participate in decision-making processes. That is why the Panchayat system, also known as Panchayati Raj, is a form of self-government. Panchayats play a vital role in addressing local issues, promoting development, and ensuring that the benefits of government schemes reach the grassroots level. So, just like any other villages in India, Lakshmanpur also has its own system of local government called the Panchayat, which means village council. The Panchayat helps bring the government closer to the people so that villages can take part in making decisions about their own area. This system is called Panchayati Raj, and it is a type of self-government. That means people in the village govern themselves by choosing their own leaders. The Panchayat is very important because it helps solve local problems. It works to improve the village like roads, water, schools. It makes sure that the government schemes and benefits like free seats, jobs or healthcare reach the villagers directly. As it is clear from the diagram, the Panchayati Raj system works at 3 levels from bottom up: the village, the block and the district. This is called a 3-tier system. Together, these institutions' responsibilities cover almost all aspects of life in the district, from agriculture, housing, maintenance of roads, management of water resources, education, healthcare, and social welfare to cultural activities. So, the Panchayati Raj system works at 3 different levels, starting from the village, then the block, and finally the district. Because it has 3 levels, it is called a 3-tier system. These 3 levels work together and take care of almost everything in the district, such as helping farmers with agriculture, providing houses for people, repairing and maintaining roads, managing water for drinking and farming, running schools and healthcare centers, looking after the welfare of the community, organizing cultural activities and festivals. So the Panchayati Raj system makes sure that villages grow and people live better lives. Gram Panchayat. Let us begin with the base of figure 11.1 on page 164. The Gram Panchayat, which is closest to the people in rural areas. Its members are elected directly by the Gram Sabha, which is a group of adults from a village or group of neighboring villages who are enrolled as voters. In the Gram Sabha, women and men discuss all matters related to their area and take decisions. Each Gram Panchayat elects a head or president called the Sarpanch or Pradhan. In recent years, more and more women have become Sarpanchs. So, the Gram Panchayat is the local government in a village. It is the closest to the people and helps solve everyday problems like water supply, road repairs, school maintenance and cleanliness. The members of the Gram Panchayat are elected by the Gram Sabha, which includes a group of adults in the village or nearby villages who are registered as voters. Both men and women in the Gram Sabha can attend meetings, discuss issues and make decisions for the village. Each Gram Panchayat chooses a leader called the Sarpanch or Pradhan. This person is like the head of the village council and is responsible for guiding the Panchayat and making sure decisions are carried out. In recent years, more women have become Sarpanchs, showing that women are playing a strong role in leadership and village development. Exemplary Sarpanch. Dhyaneshwar Kamble is a transgender person who was elected Sarpanch of Tarangfal village in the Solapur district of Maharashtra in 2017. Kamble's motto is Lok Seva, Gram Seva. That is, service to the villages, service to the public. Kamble defeated 6 other candidates to become the Sarpanch. Exemplary means something or someone that is a very good example, so good that others can learn from it. So, let's learn about an inspiring person named Dhyaneshwar Kamble, who became a Sarpanch, that is village head of Tarangfal village in the Solapur district of Maharashtra in the year 2017. Kamble is a transgender person. In society, transgender people often face many difficulties and are not always treated equally. But Kamble showed great courage and leadership by standing for election. And Kamble won the election, defeating 6 other candidates to become the Sarpanch. Kamble's motto is Lok Seva, Gram Seva. This means serving the villages the same as serving the people. As Sarpanch, Kamble worked hard to help the people and make it a better place. Vandana Bahadur Maida, a member of the Bill community from the village of Kankandvi in Madhya Pradesh, defied patriarchal norms to become the first female Sarpanch of her village. She convinced women in the village to attend the Sabha meetings and addressed critical issues like education and sanitation, earning recognition far and wide. Vandana's journey shows how women can play a leading role in transforming rural India. Vandana Bahadur Maida comes from the Bill community in a village called Kankandvi in Madhya Pradesh. She became the first female Sarpanch, that is, village leader of her village, which was a big deal because usually men were the leaders. This is called defying patriarchal norms. It means she challenged the idea that only men should be in charge. Vandana encouraged the women in her village to join the Sabha meetings where people make decisions for the village. She worked on important problems like education, making sure children go to school, sanitation, improving cleanliness and building toilets. Because of her hard work and leadership, she became well known and respected, not just in her village but in other places too. Hivre Bazar, a village in Ahmednagar district of Maharashtra, used to be affected by frequent droughts and poor agricultural yield. After Kopatrao Babuji Pawar became its Sarpanch, he started applying Anna Hazare's model of rainwater harvesting, watershed conservation and massive tree planting of lakhs of trees, all of which contributed to the recharge of groundwater. With the collaboration of the villagers, Hivre Bazar became a green and prosperous village in a few years. Shri Popatrao Pawar was awarded the Padma Shri in 2020. So, Hivre Bazar is a village in Maharashtra that used to have a big problem. There wasn't enough water because of droughts, that is, long dry periods, and farmers didn't get good crops. Then, Popatrao Babuji Pawar became the Sarpanch of Hivre Bazar. He started using ideas from a famous person named Anna Hazare to save water. These ideas included rainwater harvesting, that is, collecting and storing rainwater, watershed conservation, taking care of the land so water stays in the soil and underground, planting lots of trees. Trees help keep the soil healthy and water in the ground. Because of these actions, the village's underground water got filled up again and the village became green and full of life. The farmers got better crops and the village became prosperous. Popatrao Pawar worked together with all the villagers to make this happen. For his great work, he was given Padma Shri in 2020. The Gram Panchayat is assisted by a Panchayat secretary who performs administrative functions such as calling meetings and maintaining rapport. Most Gram Panchayats are also assisted by an officer called Patwari in many parts of India, who maintains the village's land records. In some cases, the Patwari keeps maps that are generations old. So, the Gram Panchayat is not run by the Sarpanch alone. It gets help from other people too. One important person is the Panchayat secretary. The Panchayat secretary helps with administrative work like calling meetings, keeping records and notes. Another person who helps in many villages is the Patwari. The Patwari keeps land records. That means they write down who owns which piece of land in the village. In some places, the Patwari even has old maps that are many generations old. Think about it. How do you think can these old maps be helpful for us? Can they tell us something about the past and the present? Yes, old maps can be very helpful. They show us how a village or area looked many years ago. They can tell us many things about the past and help us understand the present better. Here is how. Know how land was used in the past. Old maps can show what the village looked like long ago, where the farms, houses, rivers and forests were. We can compare it with today's map to see what has changed. Find out who owned the land. The maps can show who owned which piece of land many years ago. This is useful if there are any questions or arguments about land ownership today. Understand changes in nature. We can see if forests were cut down, lakes dried up, or if new roads and buildings were made over time. Protect history and culture. These maps can help us learn about the way people lived in the past, where they built wells, temples, or farms. This helps us protect our history. So, they help us compare the past with the present. They guide patwaris and panchayats in solving land disputes. They help in planning development while respecting history. Child-friendly Panchayat initiative. Panchayats are supposed to listen to everyone's voice, including the voice of children. The Child-Friendly Panchayat initiative creates opportunities for children to express their ideas and opinions on matters that concern their well-being. Steps are being taken in several states to encourage the participation of children in Bal Sabhas and Bal Panchayats on a regular basis, while village elders try to find solutions to their concerns. Panchayats are not just for adults. They are supposed to listen to everyone, including children. The Child-Friendly Panchayat initiative is a special effort to make sure children can share their ideas and opinions, especially on things that affect their health, safety, education, and happiness. In many states, steps are being taken to help children take part in Bal Sabhas, that is, meetings for children. Create Bal Panchayats, that is, children's councils. These are held regularly so that village elders can listen and try to find solutions to children's problems. In Maharashtra, for example, a few Bal Panchayats have worked to eliminate child labor and child marriage. They have brought many children back to school. The Bal Panchayat members get together to convince parents and other adults to send their wards back to school and not to arrange marriages for girls who should be studying. In Maharashtra, some Bal Panchayats have done amazing work to improve life for other children. They have helped to stop child labor when children are made to work instead of going to school, fought against child marriage when girls are married off too early, helped many children return to school. The members of the Bal Panchayat talk to parents and other adults. They explain why children should be studying and not working or getting married young. With their efforts, more children are getting the chance to learn and live a better life. Several Gram Panchayats have won awards for taking child-friendly initiatives. Here is an example from Sikkim. Sanguradu Kandu Gram Panchayat in West Sikkim has given a lot of importance to children's needs and rights. The Panchayat has built compound walls for schools to make them safer for children. To ensure that students get hygienically cooked midday meals, the Gram Panchayat has constructed kitchens in the schools. It is for these efforts that Sanguradu Kandu has been declared a child-friendly Gram Panchayat. So, some villages in India have done great work to take care of children and they have won awards for it. One such village is Sanguradu Kandu in West Sikkim. The Gram Panchayat in their village worked hard to make life better for children. They built walls around schools so that children can be safe while they learn. They also built kitchens in schools so that midday meals, that is, the lunch given at school, can be cooked in a clean and healthy way. Because of all these good things, this village has been called a child-friendly Gram Panchayat. This means it's a village that cares about children and make sure they are safe, healthy and happy. Let us also look at another example from Rajasthan. The Children's Parliament, an offshoot of Bankar Roy's Barefoot College initiative a few decades ago, empowered underprivileged children in Rajasthan's rural areas through education and democratic participation. Children aged 8 to 14 are engaged in governance processes, learning about democracy and social responsibility through night schools and parliament-like elections. The parliament followed formal procedures including voter ID cards and campaigning. Let's look at another inspiring story, this time from Rajasthan. Here, a special group called the Children's Parliament was started to help poor children in villages. It was part of a big project called Barefoot College, started by a man named Bankar Roy many years ago. Children between the ages of 8 and 14 were given a chance to learn about how the government works. They attended night schools, that is, schools held at night, and took part in activities similar to real elections. Just like in real elections, they had voter ID cards, campaigned and followed rules just like adults do in a real parliament. By doing this, children learned about democracy, teamwork and how to become responsible citizens. Elected representatives formed a cabinet overseeing school management and advocating for community needs. The initiative fostered leadership skills and social awareness, enabling children to challenge societal norms and advocate for change. Children actively addressed issues such as access to education, sanitation, and social equality, contributing to community development. The Children's Parliament initiative received many accolades, including the World's Children's Honorary Award in 2001. So, after the children voted, the elected leaders formed a group called the cabinet. This is like a team that helps make important decisions. The cabinet's job was to help manage the school and make it better. Speak up for what the whole community needs. Because of this, the children learned important things like how to be a good leader and how to understand and solve problems in the community, how to challenge unfair rules and make changes that help everyone. They worked on important issues like making sure every child could go to school, improving sanitation by keeping places clean and building good toilets, fighting for equal rights for all children. Because of their hard work, the Children's Parliament won many awards, including a very special one called the World's Children's Honorary Award in 2001. Let's explore. As a class activity, let 4 or 5 students form a Bal Panchayat and the rest of the class imagine they are the villagers. What issues will the Gram Sabha discuss? What challenges could it encounter? What solutions will it propose? So, you need to choose 4 or 5 students to be the members of the Bal Panchayat, that is Children's Council. The rest of the class will be the villagers. Imagine a village meeting. The villagers and the Bal Panchayat will come together to talk about important village problems. So, what problems or issues do you think the village should talk about? Examples: clean water, school problems, safe roads, waste management, lack of playgrounds. So, what challenges might the village face when trying to solve these problems? Examples: not enough money, people not cooperating, lack of awareness. So, what solutions can the Bal Panchayat and the villagers suggest? Examples: organize cleaning drives, ask for help from the local government, create awareness campaigns. This activity will help you learn how villages work together, understand leadership and teamwork. Based on this example, you can write your own answers for this question. Panchayat Samiti and Zilla Parishad. Similar institutions exist at the block level and the district level, which are above the village level. Their names are listed in the pyramidal diagram we saw in figure 11.1 on page 164. The Panchayat Samiti at the block level is the link between the Gram Panchayat and the Zilla Parishad at the district level. The members of these institutions are elected by the local people, but they may have other members like sarpanch of the villages in the area and local members of the state legislative assembly. So just like there are groups that run the villages, there are similar groups at bigger levels. In figure 11.1, in page 164, we can see at the bottom of the village parishad or gram panchayat. In the middle, block panchayat or panchayat samitis or mandal parishad at the block level. At the top are the district panchayat or zilla parishad at the district level. The Panchayat Samiti at the middle acts like a bridge connecting the village councils to the district councils. The people who live in the area choose or elect most of the members of these councils by voting. But sometimes the councils also include important people like the sarpanch, that is the leaders of the villages, and some members of the state legislative assembly. The composition of the Panchayat Samitis differs from state to state, but their role in strengthening the participation of local people remains the same. They coordinate matters across gram panchayats, for instance, by collecting development plans from all gram panchayats and putting them together to present them at the district or state levels respectively. This facilitates the allotment of funds for such development projects and for government schemes such as the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, which promotes the construction of all-weather roads in rural areas. So, the Panchayat Samitis, that is the councils at the block level, are little different in different states. But no matter where they are, their main job is to help local people take part in making decisions. They work by bringing together plans from all the Gram Panchayats in their area. Then they send these plans to the district or state government. It helps the government decide how to give money for important projects. One such project is the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, which helps build strong roads that can be used in all kinds of weather so people in villages can travel easily. At all the three levels, special rules have been made so that disadvantaged sections of the population can make their needs and problems heard. These institutions also have a provision for reserving 1/3 of the seats for women. So, at all three levels, village, block and district, special rules have been made to help people who are poor or from disadvantaged groups. These rules make sure that their needs and problems are heard. Also, in these local government bodies, 1/3 of the seats are reserved for women. This means that women must be given a chance to become leaders and take part in making decisions. Think about it. Why do you think it is important for the government to pay more attention to the needs and problems of the disadvantaged sections of society? Sample answer. It is important for the government to pay more attention to the disadvantaged sections of society because these people often do not have enough money, education or resources. They may face unfair treatment or are sometimes ignored in decision making. They may live in remote areas where help and services do not reach easily. If the government listens to them and helps solve their problems, then everyone in the country gets a fair chance to live a better life. This helps make the whole society more equal, strong and peaceful. Let's explore. What similarities and differences do you notice between the governance system at the central level and at the Panchayat level? Hint, refer back to chapter 10 if required. Similarities between central government and Panchayat system. Both are elected by the people. In both systems, people vote to choose their leaders. At the central level, we vote for members of parliament, that is MPs. At the village level, people vote for Panchayat members like the sarpanch. Both make rules and take decisions. The government makes rules for the country, the Panchayat makes rules for the village. Both have meetings and discussions. Leaders meet to discuss problems and find solutions. In the central government, this happens in the parliament. In the Panchayat, this happens in the Gram Sabha. And what are the difference between the central government and Panchayat system? Central government works for the whole country. Panchayat works for villages only. Central government takes care of national issues. Panchayat takes care of local issues. If you get an opportunity to meet a few Panchayat members, what questions would you like to ask them? Discuss in small groups to create a questionnaire. Meet some Gram Panchayat members or invite them to your school. Ask them the questions in your questionnaire and write a short report. Imagine if you got a chance to meet the Gram Panchayat members, the people who help run and improve your village or area, what would you like to ask them? This activity helps you learn how village leaders work and how they solve problems in your area. I will give you a sample answer for this question. Based on this example, you can write your own questions. What are your main responsibilities as a Panchayat member? To understand what they do for the village, you can ask this question. How do you decide which problems in the village need to be solved first? This is to learn how they set priorities and make decisions. How does the Gram Panchayat get money for development work? This question is to understand how local projects are funded. What are some important projects or changes the Panchayat has made in the village recently? This is to know about improvements in the village. How can the people of the village, especially children and women, share their ideas or problems with the Panchayat? To find out how everyone can take part in village decision. Let us remember that the structure and functions of the Panchayati Raj institutions differ a little across states. This is because the states have authority over those institutions, but their objectives are the same. It is to enable villagers to take an active part in the management and development of their villages and the local area. So, the way Panchayats work can be little different in different states of India. This happens because each state has the power to decide how their Panchayats will be organized and run. But the main goal of Panchayats is to help villagers take part in making decisions about their own village and local area. This means villagers can help manage things like roads, schools, water and other important needs. The Arthashastra is an ancient text of governance written by Kautilya, later known as Chanakya, some 2300 years ago. Among other things, it describes how a state should be structured and run, how the economy can be made prosperous, what the duties of the ruler are, and how to conduct war. Kautilya, an expert in statecraft, also explains how a whole administrative structure should be put in place from the village to the regional capital. The Arthashastra is a very old and important book written about 2300 years ago by a wise man named Kautilya, who was also known as Chanakya. He was an expert in statecraft. That means he knew a lot about how to govern a country. In this ancient text, Kautilya wrote about many important things such as how a kingdom should be run, how to make the economy strong and prosperous, what a ruler's duties are, how to conduct war, and most interestingly, how to set up a full administrative system from the smallest village to the big regional capital. The king shall establish a Sangrahan, a sub-district headquarters for every 10 villages, a Karvatika, district headquarters for every 100 villages, a Dronamukh for every 400 villages, and a Sthaniya, provincial headquarters for every 800 villages. So, Kautilya suggested that the king should divide the kingdom into parts so it's easier to govern and take care of the people. So, here is what each part means. Sangrahan, that is sub-district headquarters for every 10 villages. Karvatika, district headquarters for every 100 villages. Dronamukh, that is larger administrative center for every 400 villages. Sthaniya, that is provincial headquarters for every 800 villages. This shows how well planned ancient Indian administration was. Even in those days, leaders understood that to manage a large kingdom, work must be divided and local areas should have their own offices. Today, we still use similar systems like villages, blocks, districts and states. Many of the systems we follow today in India like Panchayati Raj, district collectors and state capitals are similar to what Kautilya had suggested long ago. In today's language, what are the names we would give these 4 categories? Is it not amazing that a similar structure was thought of so long ago? So, Sangrahana can be called Gram Panchayat group today. Karvatika, block. Dronamukh, subdivision or subdistrict. Stanya can be called district headquarters or Zilla Parishad today. Before we move on, the local government in rural areas is organized into a 3-tier system. So, let's recollect what we learned so far. We learned that the local government in rural areas is organized into a 3-tier system. That means there are 3 levels of government that work together to take care of village needs. They are Gram Panchayat. This is the first lowest level, works at the village level. Members are elected by the people of the village, led by a Sarpanch. Next is the Panchayat Samiti. This is the second middle level. Works at the block level, that is a group of villages. Helps coordinate work between different Gram Panchayats. Third one, Zilla Parishad. This is the third highest level. Works at the district level. Plans big development projects for the entire district. Democracy in the Panchayat Raj system works both through direct participation of people and through their elected representatives. So, in Panchayati Raj, people directly share their ideas in meetings. They also elect leaders to represent them. Both ways, they help democracy work at the village level. The Panchayati Raj institutions give people in rural areas a measure of self-governance, so they may manage their issues and collaborate in development plans. So, what are the Panchayati Raj institutions? They are the local governments in villages like the Gram Panchayat, Panchayat Samiti and Zilla Parishad. They help villages take charge of their own development by giving them the power to make decisions, solve problems and plan for the future together. So with this, we have completed the chapter Grassroots Democracy Part 2 Local Government in Rural Areas. I hope you found it easy to understand. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. We will see you again in our next video. Bye bye.